The next bill we have is Representative Katiza Watoon, House File 832, and I'll move that House File 832 be referred to the Committee on Commerce, Finance, and Policy. Katiza Watoon, please describe your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for having me this morning. House File 832 is a very simple bill. Only one change, one word added to statute, simply making the name of lottery winners here in the state of Minnesota private, as along with their phone number and street address. So in today's day and age, with technology the way that it is, it's certainly much easier to find a lot of information about anyone, and oftentimes more information than they may want shared. So this came about, a couple of weeks ago. We had a really large nationwide jackpot, and I actually got a couple questions from constituents about whether or not, if they go in a lottery pool, do all the winners have to report their name? Somebody didn't even know if they could claim anonymity in Minnesota, and so I just started looking into it a little bit, and Mr. Prock with the Minnesota Lottery, he was actually in a commerce hearing, and lo and behold, Senator Kiffmeyer was introducing a bill in the Senate that same week about this issue. So she and I got to talking after those questions from constituents, and I've decided to carry it here in the House. So one of the things that happens when this information is public is that, lottery winners have been robbed. Some of them have been killed. There's a lot of harms that can come to people if your information is public like that. And in fact, the Today Show, you search like lottery winners, one of the articles that comes up and the very first thing that they tell you to do is to buy your ticket in a state that doesn't require you to come forward. So there are a number of states that don't allow people to not release their name, and North Dakota is one of those. So I don't know if some of our friends over on the west side of the state just pop over across the border to buy their ticket, but I think that that's certainly a really, really important part of people being able to keep their name and information private so that they don't have to deal with any of these things. The second tip on that article is to not tell anyone. So it's kind of hard to do if your name is out there in public. I'm happy to stand for questions, but again, this bill is pretty simple, and just wanted to make sure that all Minnesotans have access to the privacy that they desire.
And members, I have Mr. Brock from the lottery here on my list. Please identify yourself for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, committee members. For the record, my name is Adam Prock. I'm the Executive Director of the Minnesota Lottery. Thank you for the opportunity to briefly discuss House File 832. Winner safety and security is particularly important to the Minnesota Lottery. We pride ourselves on treating our winners with respect, and that includes protecting their privacy. Winners are not required to have their photo taken, share their stories, or participate in news conferences if they choose not to. The lottery is continually taking proactive steps to help address privacy concerns, including transitioning to using only winners' first names where possible when it comes to social media, local media statements, and website content. The only information the lottery is required to disclose as a matter of public record is the winner's name, city of residence, prize amount, and where the ticket was purchased. The lottery works closely with all winners on a case-by-case basis to ensure their needs are met, including winners who choose to maintain a very low profile. This transparency is crucial to the integrity and continued success of the Minnesota Lottery. When the names of winners are public record, the lottery can prove that real people from every corner of the state are winning, which increases player confidence that the lottery is random and fair, that players are not associated with the lottery in any way, and that most of the money spent on lottery tickets is returned as prizes. When any government entity disperses hundreds of millions of dollars a year, transparency around who is receiving that money is an appropriate measure to ensure confidence in the organization. Additionally, to help protect the integrity of the lottery, our games, we employ a highly qualified security team that conducts internal reviews to vet winners. However, our reviewers can occasionally miss player connections that the members of the public might catch. and winner transparency increases the likelihood that wrongdoers who attempt to commit lottery fraud will be caught. There have been instances around the country where people have attempted to commit fraud and were caught, at least in part, because winners' names were public. For example, a recent case involving a lottery insider who rigged drawings around the Midwest and arranged for accomplices to claim the winnings. If the names of his brother and his best friend, who claimed some of the prizes, had not been publicly known, the insider may not have been caught, and he certainly would not have pled guilty or faced justice for those crimes. The balance between lottery integrity and player security is something that we consider every day at the Minnesota Lottery. Both are vital to our mission as a state agency. We appreciate and share your commitment to safety, security, and integrity of the Minnesota Lottery and its players, and we will continue to work with the author and committee members to identify and address any concerns. Mr. Chair, thank you for allowing me to speak to you today on the impact of House File 832, and I'm happy to take any questions.
With that, members, any questions? I don't see any hands raised at this second, but I'll wait a couple minutes here and I see nobody jumping to put their hands up. Representative Katiza Watoon, do you have any final closing remarks?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to have this bill heard today. I think that the privacy and safety and security of Minnesotans is paramount. I appreciate the insight from Mr. Prock and his staff over at the Minnesota Lottery. And if there are questions going forward as we make our way through the process, I'd be happy to consider those suggestions and insight to make the bill even better. Thanks for your support.
Thank you. And with that, I see no hands being raised. I'll renew my motion that House File 832 be referred to the Committee on Commerce, Finance, and Policy. The legislative system will take the roll.
Chair Nelson?
Aye.
Vice Chair Carlson?
Aye.
Representative Nash?
Aye.
Representative Bonner?
Aye.
Representative Drazkowski?
Aye.
Representative Elkins?
Aye.
Representative Greenman? Representative Kleborn?
Aye.
Representative Koznick?
Aye.
Representative Mason?
Aye.
Representative New Brindley?
Aye.
Representative Pulowski?
Pulaski, aye.
Representative Quam? Representative Quam?
Aye.
With 13 ayes and 0 nays, the motion prevails.
Thank you. Representative Katiza Watoon, you're on your way.